I know I just released my Phineas and Ferb review just yesterday, but today I'm going to be releasing my review of Bill and Ted Face the Music. So, I'm not the biggest Bill and Ted fan. I've seen the original movie only once, and I've never seen the sequel. But I watched this movie because the trailers look good. I remember the first one being pretty funny. I like Keanu Reeves, and it's just good to have a new movie to see. So, I decided to watch this one, and I'm excited to talk about it. So, right into the review, I had one big negative. It's that the movie's pretty predictable. There's a lot of times you can probably, easily guess what the next beat in the plot's gonna be, what maybe a big twist near the end is. By the way, we'll be talking minor spoilers in this, so I'd recommend you see the movie before you watch this, but if you really don't care, then feel free to watch. But yeah, the plot's decently predictable. The kind of minor plot twist near the end, I called it near the beginning. Not saying that it's a bad twist at all. It's still pretty good, but it's easy to call. That's my only real negative. Some things I'm mixed about. I wasn't the biggest fan of the whole plot line of their wives might be leaving them, and they go off on their own separate adventure. I feel like that just made the plot, which already had a couple of different storylines going on. I don't feel like it needed another one. So it made the movie a little more convoluted. And not that it was bad, but, it just bloated the movie where it didn't need to be bloated. And then, the rules of time travel, I know that's complicated in almost any other movie it's ever been in, but in this, a lot of the time it confused me where they were introducing parallel universes, but not really explaining how that worked. And then the whole thing was time's ending in 7 minutes, but you can still go to the future where you've already written this. It's very confusing to me, but, I guess it's understandable for a comedy movie about time travel. I guess the laws of time travel don't need to make that much sense as long as they benefit the plot. It just got confusing at times for me. On to the positives. First off, all the acting is great, specifically Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter. They slip right back into these roles. They just the way they speak and how they say dude every other sentence. It feels like two middle-aged men trapped in the 80s and 90s. And I really do like that. They do a great job with it. I feel like the two actresses who played Bill and Ted's daughters, they did a great job kind of channeling the same energy that Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter had in the original movies. And I like the dynamic between Bill and Ted and their daughters. It was really sweet, led to a lot of good moments. And I liked a lot of the supporting cast. I thought Kristen Shaw was great as the time-traveling daughter of Rufus from the original movie. And I love how they brought in a lot of historical figures kind of from across the past, a lot like the first one. Speaking of that, I really did love the side plot of the two daughters trying to make this great band and going through time to get these historical figures to be part of the band. And I felt it felt a lot like the original movie where they were, getting all these people for a history presentation. So I really liked that. One thing I liked about this movie, I think it was great, is it didn't feel like it was too, there was definitely nostalgia I feel like for a lot of people who would have had nostalgia for the original movie. It didn't feel too pandering. For example, I like the new Star Wars movies, but, it takes a lot of moments where, you have to, kind of sit where, the music swells, and it kind of shows, a couple shots of the character. The characters, Han arriving, Money and Falcon, they took you, a big moment for you to process, oh, look, Han's back in the Falcon. But with this movie, when Bill and Ted get back into the time-traveling phone booth, they don't skip a beat. It feels like this movie, it definitely makes sense for a movie that came out 20 years after, but it feels like, oh, we're not going to be oh, remember this, we're jumping right back into that, and I really respected that with this movie. But overall, it was really entertaining. There were a lot of great jokes. The visual effects were surprisingly good for a movie with a budget this small. Or it wasn't small, it was still $25 million, but still really good effects. And I always enjoy good, fun time travel stories, and this did that really well with kind of the multiple iterations from Bill and Ted with the future, with them in prison, them being old. It was all really entertaining. And I thought the main plot of, they have to create this master song to save the universe, I thought that was, it felt a lot bigger than the previous movies were with kind of the stakes, but I think it made the movie more of a finale kind of thing. Oh, everything's great now, everyone's happy now at the very end, so I like that. I always like that with finales. Overall, this is a really fun movie with, standout performances of Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter coming back to these characters who they haven't played in nearly 30 years. He slid right into the roles and made a very entertaining and charming time travel movie that I really enjoyed. So I would give it a 7.5 out of 10. It's good. I'd recommend you see it if you've seen the first one or just looking for a fun new movie to watch. So, hope you liked the video. Mulan review hopefully coming up in about a week or so. Okay, bye-bye.